Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Big Time Fantasy Football. You're here with your hosts, Nick and Zach. Today, we're going to be continuing with our prospect profiles. We're going to be working with the top three wide receivers. Feel free to like our video, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps out the channel, helps us get more better content out to you. Without further ado, let's get into it. We're getting into the top three wide receiver prospect profiles, and we are starting out with Marvin Harrison Jr., just 21 years old, 6'4", 205, so he's got a great frame. He's very tall. We have an NFL player comp for him of Justin Jefferson and A.J. Green, just those bigger frame X wide receivers that can kill you with their route running and then go up and make the catch. And as far as a low to mid-end comp, we comped him around as Sammy Watkins. I don't think either of us believe that he's going to end up with a Sammy Watkins career. But as a low-end comp, just someone that had great production in college, was very highly touted, and then just didn't end up working out after one or two seasons. And then getting into Marvin Harrison's pros, he is an elite route runner. I think all three of these guys you're going to see are all very elite route runners, but he's probably the best route runner out of the three. He really looks like a smaller guy when he's out there running routes. He can break on a dime, really get corners turned around. He also has great hands at the catch point. He is a guy that definitely will overpower you if it's a 50-50 ball, and really just come down with it. And like I said, biggest frame of the three, standing at 6'4". He's not going to be the thickest out of the three, but definitely the tallest guy. Last two seasons, he's had over 1,200 yards. I believe he's also had, 14 touchdowns each of the last two seasons as well. He's had elite production this past year without a elite quarterback. And I know last year he had C.J. Stroud. He played well with him, but he kept that going this year after C.J. Stroud left for the draft. He is limited to an X receiver role. He only plays the outside. He's just too big to play in the slot. Even though he moves well, you really just don't want to put him in the slot like Neighbors or Odunze. He also doesn't really have that run after the catch ability that guys like Neighbors and Odunze have. I would compare them more to like a DJ Moore as far as ability after the catch, whereas Marvin Harrison, if he has a lane, he might get past you, but aside from that, he's really not going to make you miss too much. He does have the worst production this year out of these big three wide receiver prospects. At 1,200 yards, I mean, it's not terrible production, but, we're nitpicking here out of these three. And then he also has the least competition out of these prospects. He does have Emeka Egbuka, who I don't believe played all year. But compared to the other guys who have receivers that are going in this year's NFL draft, just very little competition, lets him get more targets, can ball hog a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. And when we're getting to these guys with their cons, obviously we're finding cons. We're nitpicking just because this is such an elite class, and with Marvin Harrison specifically, he is at top of the class of a great class. So he's definitely an elite guy. So all the cons are nitpicking, but definitely still want to see that there's something there.
Absolutely. Moving on, we are going with Malik Neighbors as our number 2 prospect. 20 years old. He's going to be 21 in July, so before the season starts. But he is only 6 foot, 200 pounds, so definitely a lot smaller than Marv and Rome Odunze by 3 or 4 inches. Has decent production in college, 1,500 yards this year, 14 touchdowns. Last year he got over 1,000, but definitely not anything like this year. He definitely jumped off the page this year. NFL comp-wise, we said his elite comp is going to be Stefon Diggs or DJ Moore. Definitely more of that smaller archetype of receiver that can catch the ball still and make good plays after the catch. So we really like him as that comp. And then for a low to mid end, more of a Sterling Shepard, uh, just a little bit taller. He's definitely undersized, and he's good with the ball after the catch. Very much a playmaker, just like Sterling Shepard. So that would be a low end comp for him. With Malik Neighbors, these are his pros. He's got elite route running ability, especially in the shorter routes. He's a really good separator. He uses his move, he uses leverage, and he knows how to get corners off their spot. At the same time, he has great hands as well, just like Marv, just like Odunze. All three of these guys are good route runners and have great hands. But he is the best after the catch. He has the most forced missed tackles on receptions in FBS this year. He has 26 of those. So really good after the catch. We're thinking more of that Debo, maybe DJ Moore type role. So great college production is another thing. He is the LSU's leader in career receptions and yards, which is very, very great, especially with all the great receivers that have come out of LSU. And he also produced, while there's competition in the room, Brian Thomas Jr., another really good wide receiver, probably going to go in the first round this year in NFL draft. Malik Neighbors can also play any receiving position. He can play in the slot. He can play on the outside if he needs to. Just an all-around dominator. And getting into his cons, he does have a smaller frame than Odunze and Marvin Harrison. Also plays a little slower than him at times. He's somewhat inconsistent. He was better this year, but I know in 2022 there would be times that he really just wasn't playing as hard as he should have been. But this year he cleaned it up a little bit, but definitely played a little slower. And going to that, he really only had 1 year of elite college production. Like I said earlier, in 2022 he did have over 1,000 yards. But compared to his 1,500 yards this year, definitely took a step up. He does have questionable ability to separate deep. He wins with his moves. He doesn't necessarily win with his speed. So if a corner stays on top of him and he has a deep route, he's probably not going to run past him. And another con, I guess you could say, we're nitpicking again, but he did play with a Heisman-winning quarterback. With an elite guy like that, it's going to make you look a little bit better. The question is, are you making him look better? Are you making Jaden Daniels look better, or is he making you look better? So,
Yeah, another guy top of this class, like you said. Nitpicking, great guy though. I kind of, before doing our research here, I really had Harrison and Neighbors kind of tier 1, and then Odunze tier 2. This is obviously kind of leading to the next guy here, but with Odunze doing the research, I feel like Neighbors and Harrison are kind of more of a 1A, while I still do see Rome Odunze slightly behind them, but more of a 1B than a complete second tier. If that makes sense. But getting into him, so he's 21 years old, 6'3", 215 pounds. For his NFL player comps, we got him as, on the high side, being like a Larry Fitzgerald or a Jamar Chase. This is just due to his route running ability, his ability to catch the ball and just be in the right spot and then move well like a Jamar Chase. And then at the low end, we got him as a Devontae Parker, which is kind of not his fastest field stretcher, basically. So that's kind of the range that we got him in. Hopefully he's on the higher end, obviously. But I saw on NFL.com, I went and did their analytics thing, and it had him as a 6.74 rather, for his athletic profile. And a perfect prospect is an 8, so they have him projected as a year 1 starter, which I think definitely from watching tape that he most likely will be. But these are some of his pros here, some things that he does really well. He makes contested catches, and it's not like he's using pure athleticism, which wouldn't translate as well to the NFL. He uses his body control and ball skills in order to do that, so that's something that can definitely translate over, because he's not going to be bigger than everybody, but those ball skills will still remain. And he only had 3 drops during that time, which is probably 3 more than he wanted, but just shows that he does have consistent hands. And he flashed as a run blocker, which for our scope fantasy is not something you directly think of, but that is going to get him on the field more. If you can block as a receiver, you're going to stay on way more snaps, and then if something changes at the line, he'll have a chance to make a play. So that'll keep him on the field, and he's done really well in a few cases with that. And the next point here I got here is he's just smooth. He's just a smooth guy. He reminds me of that Paul George meme with the Erica Badu song. He's just smooth when he's out there. He gets around the field well, gets up speed, looks good. And something else I want to say is that he has an elite work ethic. Obviously I'm not with him behind the scenes, but from what I see, it looks like he does. He was the last prospect on the field, the wide receiver prospect on the field at the combine. Everyone else was gone. It was just him and a couple staff members running this 3-cone drill because he wanted to do it again a full 6 times. And he's already, pretty much locked in as a first-round guy, but he's still doing that to do his best, which I think really reflects well on him. Probably moved him up a couple draft boards, honestly. And he led the nation in receiving yards. And I put this last because I kind of wanted to transition it into one of the cons, but he did lead the nation in receiving yards last season. But kind of why that was is just the way Washington plays. He had a limited route tree. He was mostly running goes, comebacks, and slants. And then he had a big arm quarterback that would lay it down. So I think a lot of the yards just came from those combination of things. And you do want to see more of a route tree. And I'm not saying it's his fault that he had a limited route tree at Washington. That's just kind of how they do. But we didn't get to see a full route tree, so it's hard to say if he has that or not. And another con is he's a faster guy. He ran a 4.45 and a 4.46 at the combine, first 40. But his game speed, for whatever reason, he just seems slower out there. He's not burning past guys or doing anything, which I just think is strange. And then he can get jammed on the press from time to time, which if it's happening in college, probably going to happen in the NFL too, as well, obviously. And then, like I said, we're nitpicking here, but he is a good route runner. I want to say that. I don't think I ended up putting that in my pros. But he doesn't always sell his double moves, and he doesn't get low and come back on his comebacks, kind of is vertical, which makes it harder to get separation, easier to play as a DB. Like I said, though, nitpicking, this is a great class of receivers. Dunze, doing this research, like I said, did move up for me. He did impress me, but that's kind of what I have for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely the guy you want in contested catch situations. I think if he is able to beef up a little bit in the NFL, he'll be able to get past the jams on press coverage, and he'll be able to become more of a complete receiver. It is to be seen, like you said. Will he be able to run more routes? Will they move him around, put him outside, put him in the slot when he gets to that NFL level? We will see, but I know all 3 of these guys are projected to probably be top 10, top 15 guys in the NFL draft this year. So definitely excited about all 3 of them. Yeah. Anything else
Who
you
do
want to add?
you like best at their draft point, their fantasy draft point?
Ooh, I think Malik Neighbors. I like him a lot. Marv is probably going to go in rookie drafts, like 1 or 2.
103.
Yeah, and then Neighbors, I mean, those other quarterbacks are really elite as well, so he could slip as far as 5, which I think if you get him at 5, even at 4, he is a steal. And if he goes to a good team, I know the Chargers are looking for a receiver. If Marv doesn't drop, but Neighbors drops to them, I think him and Justin Herbert could be an incredible duo for years to come. So
Yeah, they definitely need pass catchers over there, so that'd be a great fit. Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of things are going to depend on where they land. I think Adunze, though,
location,
where he
location.
currently is, if he doesn't fly up the board, getting him down probably towards the 108, maybe 109 if he slips even a little bit. That would be a trade up target, just because no one's ever really trading the top 3 picks unless you're getting rid of a superstar. But that might be an easier spot to move into. So I mean, regardless, if you need a receiver this year and you have a first round pick, it's a great time. So definitely work out.
Definitely.
But again, it's been Big Time Fantasy Football. Like we said, we're a new channel. Like and subscribe goes a long way to helping us out. If you have any ideas for a video, let us know. If you disagree with some of the strengths and weaknesses we said, also let us know. But that's going to be it for us today. Have a great day, guys.